Twitter's demand to fire Chris Hayes goes against the entire hashtag #MeToo movement. And this is from MSN, written here by Brittany de la Cretas. On Thursday, Twitter users demanded that MSNBC hashtag fire Chris Hayes, so much so that the hashtag began trending. The tweets are coming from both right-wing media and Democrat constituents, who are all upset that the host of All In with Chris Hayes covered assault allegations against the presumed Democratic candidate for president on his show. The trending topic is highlighting the inflammatory discourse that has bubbled up around the allegations against Joe Biden by former staffer Tara Reade. On Wednesday night, Hayes dedicated a segment of his show to discussing Reade's allegations. There have been moments for all of us when we have heard about accusations against someone that we find ourselves desperately wanting not to believe, Hayes said to open the segment. He continued on in describing difficulties when accusations are against someone for whom we have political admiration, someone on our side. But part of the difficult lesson of the Me Too era is not that every accusation is true and everything should be believed on its face, but that you do have to fight yourself when you feel that impulse, Hayes continued. You have to do that in order to take seriously what is being alleged and what the evidence is and to evaluate it. As a result of these statements, Twitter began to speculate everything from Hayes' motives on air to whether he was a Russian agent. Boom! There it is. Boy, they're going, whoosh, crack that whip, boy. Don't you dare go against Twitter. Nazi, Russian agent, Trump sympathizer, white nationalist, misogyny, the patriarchy. If you dare go against them, boy, you got, whoosh, Chris Hayes got whipped back in line. Chris Hayes has been one of the media's most virulent, relentless, and arguably effective Trump critics. An all-consuming loathing for the president, but hashtag fire Chris Hayes was trending because he covered the assault allegations against Biden. That's from Glenn Greenwald. And that's a great tweet there by Mr. Greenwald. Not 100% sure with his politics, but I believe I had heard he was a left-winger. Not sure if he fits into the progressive side of things or kind of more of the liberal type of that side of the party. Again, not totally familiar with him, that's just what I've heard. Hayes is among few mainstream journalists to even address Reade's allegations against Biden. Mainstream media has been slow to cover Reade's story about being digitally penetrated by Biden when she was a staff assistant in 1993. She shared her story on Katie Halper's podcast on March 25th, but it wasn't until several weeks later when the New York Times and Washington Post published investigations and addressed her allegations. Both publications were criticized for framing their reports in ways that downplayed their findings, and Biden's campaign continues to deny all allegations against him, which, okay, we'll switch from that. We'll go on to something different. Now, all of you know about Biden by now. He says he's picking a woman, for sure. And I think we all know right now that it's going to be a black person, black woman. They talk about Kamala Harris, and they talk about something named Stacey Abrams. So here's Stacey Abrams. This is an interview she gave with Don Lemon, and this was a couple days ago. A lot of you may have seen it already. I'll just run the clip real quick so you can take a look if you haven't seen it.
One who wants to be his vice president, I think it's important that we speak about something that's in the news now. As you know, there is a sexual assault allegation against Joe Biden. The accuser, her name is Tara Reade, tells CNN that the alleged incident happened in 1993 while she was working as an aide in Biden's Senate office. She is claiming that she was delivering Biden a duffel bag and says that Biden had her up against the wall in a corridor on the Hill and violated her with his fingers. Now, CNN has now spoken on the record with her former neighbor, who says Reade told her about the allegation within a few years of the alleged incident. Biden's campaign says untrue, never happened. Is this a credible allegation?
I believe that women deserve to be heard, and I believe that they need to be listened to. But I also believe that those allegations have to be investigated by credible sources. The New York Times did a deep investigation, and they found that the accusation was not credible. I believe Joe Biden. I believe that he is a person who has demonstrated that his love of family, his love of our community has been made perfectly clear through his work as a congressional leader and as an American leader. I know Joe Biden, and I think that he is telling the truth and that this did not happen.
So in 2018, you tweeted it was shameful that Brett Kavanaugh's Supreme Court nomination was being rushed forward and survivors of violence like Christine Blasey Ford deserve to have their voices heard. Are you applying a different standard now?
Not at all. I believe then and I believe now that women deserve to be heard because too often they are not. And Tara Reade deserved to have her story listened to and investigated. What was happening to Christine Blasey Ford was that there was no investigation. There was a rush to move the conversation forward so that no investigation was conducted. And as I said, I believe that those allegations needed to be investigated. And I believe that the New York Times and subsequent reports support what the Biden campaign has said. And I believe Joe Biden.
So you said you've heard her, you've heard enough, you don't believe her, you believe Joe Biden.
No, what I'm saying is that the New York Times investigation of her allegations, the New York Times investigation does not support the accusations against the vice president. I believe the Biden I know, and I think that he will make women proud, that he will make America proud.
Does Joe Biden personally need to address this more directly and publicly?
I believe his campaign has been very clear, and I believe that that is the approach that they intend to take, and I support the approach because, again, we don't want women to ever be afraid to come forward, but we also have to recognize that allegations should be investigated and that those investigations need to be borne out.
Stacey Abrams, thank you for your time. We appreciate you coming on.
Thank you.
So, you got to give her credit. I've never heard of her before the Georgia governor's race, which she almost won, by the way, in a state that's red. She almost pulled off the upset there. I think, and I may be a little off on this, maybe she lost by 1%, 1.5 there. I think the Gillum race in Florida with DeSantis was closer. But if I recall, I think she was within a point and a half of Kemp there in Georgia in 2018. Like I said, my numbers may be off a little bit on that, but I'll give her credit. She doesn't look like much of a politician, but she surely is slick. Like, she knows how to, and this is just from the interview there, she knows how to kind of frame it. She knows how to vocalize or verbalize very well. So she's got that whole, like, politician speak down. Hey, a lot better than me. I have to edit these videos a lot before I even can put them up. I don't doubt if she had a YouTube channel, she wouldn't even need to edit fourth as much as me. So she's really good with her delivery and her speech and everything like that, and she really sounds like she believes Joe. But here's the thing, though. With Chris Hayes starting to cover this, with other mainstream legacy media sources starting to pick this up, we've got the tape, receipts right there. If this thing goes sideways in any way, here she is on this interview with Don Lemon. If it goes sideways and it turns out that more evidence comes out and there is something provable to this, she's already on record, and that kind of crushes her whole friend of the female narrative. If it does come out to where this woman does have credible evidence of her claims against Biden from 1993. So long ago, I don't know that anything is going to come of this, but this is definitely something that's newsworthy because she is being considered for the vice president's spot. Out of her and Harris, she seems very well spoken to me, very professional. We're talking about Abrams here. Don't know much about her record or anything like that, but she seems a little bit more, we say, refined than Harris. Somebody that would be better on the campaign trail, out there on the debate stage, if we do ever get to that point where we do have debates. And she's able to go out there and try to drum up support for Biden. Now, that'll be interesting. Just a thought on that real quick, and then I'll go ahead and wrap the video up. But that we don't have kind of traditional campaigning. And again, we're not even to the convention yet. So when we get to the conventions, like, it doesn't really mean anything right now. I hear a lot of people saying, this isn't a traditional campaign season, so on and so forth. Yeah, I get that. But we've got our two combatants. Obviously, we don't know the VP on Biden's side, but we're pretty sure it's going to be one of her or Kamala Harris. And before I was thinking it would be Harris, but I don't know. After hearing her speak, like I said, she kind of sounds pretty impressive to me. And she definitely seems to be willing to support Biden and stay and do whatever it takes to get on that number 2 spot there and be his VP. But until the point we get to the conventions, I don't really see things as being drastically different because we already know who it's going to be. So a couple months from now, if we're still locked down and individuals aren't out there campaigning, fundraising, and being able to do the typical political thing, then yeah, I can see things start to change. So what I'm getting at is people have been saying, and this is what I've just been hearing, that it's advantage Trump in this situation. Some people are saying, oh, it's advantage Biden because Trump keeps flubbing in the press conferences and stuff like that. But I think that the fact that we don't have debates, oh, and Pelosi is out there trying to get this vote by mail for everybody, and is out there, I think it was Biden, of course, Biden's team, putting out a tweet or some information saying that Trump doesn't want to have the election. He's going to try to move the election. He doesn't want any piece of Joe Biden. We don't want none of old Joe. Come on, get him, Joe. I think that's BS. I think that what we're seeing right now is Biden's rapid kind of decline on the times where he is out speaking. He's okay. The thing. I think this is advantage Biden. The longer this goes on, the more he kind of fades into the background, and with deaths kind of compiling, cases kind of picking up and everything like that here, over 1 million now, over 220,000 deaths worldwide. I think the more individuals kind of see how it seems to be a little bit of, confusion, or not confusion, but there's so many different ways that they're trying to go and trying to come up with so many different things to help slow the case, different types of things they're trying out, that people see that as confusion within the administration. So to me, that's advantage Biden. So that's why I'm saying the longer this goes on, it's advantage Biden. However, if we get to the point where, not necessarily saying we need the conventions, but we get to the point where you get those two guys on stage against each other, those two guys are out there having campaign rallies, stuff like that, I think at that point it's advantage Trump, because Biden's clearly gone. He's clearly lost it. I don't even know if he's going to make it to November. I don't know. I wonder if, say, the allegations get ramped up or there's more credible evidence that comes out of this, is Biden just a placeholder right now? Even though the Democrats are really behind him now and they're doing everything they can to try to make sure that this story gets squashed, will they continue to back him if this story really started to heat up some more? Or would they go ahead and toss old Joe on out? For as much as they love him now, you know they'll be quick to back that bus up over him. If this stuff starts to go sideways and his numbers start to look bad, you know they'll be calling up good old Hillary Rodham Clinton or Cuomo or whomever they're trying to call up. I don't know. But it's not going to be Bernie, I'll tell you that much. I don't know. Those are just my thoughts on it. We've got tape of her now, though, backing Biden. So, again, if this thing proves to be true, she can't ever go back, in my opinion, because, oh, no, she will. She'll go back to it, but it'll just be kind of a hypocritical thing. Now, whether or not individuals will let her slide on that, I'm sure they will. But again, back to Biden and Trump real quick. The longer this goes on, the longer that those two aren't seen on the same stage against each other, it's advantage Biden, to the extent that this story doesn't go anywhere. Will it go somewhere? We'll see. Thanks for watching, everybody. Take care. Have a good day.